Prince Vhordrai, Lord of the Crimson Keep. I guess there's no further introduction needed. Since this is part 2, I spare you a lengthy intro. In short, this is an atmospheric paint job. Let's go! After I painted his overly detailed dragon, there was just Prince Vhordrai left. I like my vampires to be in a rusty and aged golden tone since I think it fits them very well. I imagine that this vampire coven comes from a long and rich lineage, so they naturally would represent this with some golds and have a the more the better mentality. But since I like my vampires to be also a little depraved, I had to weather and darken it down. Most of his armor got a coat of Acryl's Bronze, but I picked out some parts like the wings of the dragon, his shoulders and the armor around his upper legs, which got a coat of Acryl's Copper to break the overall gold a bit. For the chainmail and the lance I used Acryl's Dark Silver. Once all the metallics were dry, I started shading all over the golds and silver parts with Game Wash Black. The copper parts got a coat of Rykel Flesh Shade. After that was done, I started painting his cape. I wanted it to stand out, and since I thought Magenta would not fit because the dragon had too much of it, I figured that there was only one valid option: white. But since I needed it to be an off-white in the end and also weathered down as well, I started painting with a brown. I know, strange, but trust me. After I painted his entire cape brown, I let it dry and gave the banner on his lance and also his face a very fast paint job of dark purple, magenta and Elfic flesh. I mixed the colors on the fly to be able to do this in one step. Since the cape still wasn't dry yet, I painted the verdigris and rust in the recesses. To match it with the rest of my force and the dragon, I took blue-green by Vallejo and diluted it with a lot of water, to the point where it has the consistency of a wash. If you made it up right until this point, I want to encourage you to leave a like or a subscription. I painted all the recesses of the armor and finally went on with the cape. That got a coat of cold grey, but I left out the parts that would lay in a natural shadow. I left these parts brown to have the impression of it being dirty. After that I used wolf grey and wet blended a tiny amount of cold grey into it to match the color underneath. Painting with whites is always a little bit tricky, especially on darker backgrounds. We have to gradually work ourselves up to a brighter and brighter color. When When I was done painting the cape, I edge highlighted the entire armor with light bronze. I did not really care if the part is dark bronze or copper, since this step is meant to pull the armor together. And all the silver parts got a coat of bright silver. By the way, do you know about my Patreon? These amazing people are one of the reasons I can keep up this content, posting 1 or 2 videos weekly. To match the Draconeth's color, I painted his little inbuilt coffee holder like cauldron on his saddle with blue, green, turquoise and white. Just going brighter the closer I got to the inside of it, so it looks like a magical well or something. How does this even work, by the way? I imagine this getting spilled the moment the Draconeth launches into the air. For Vhordrai's face, I went for my trusted recipe of Bugmans glow and Elfic flesh. Just going as bright as I could and once again painting from his chin up to his forehead. I always feel like a broken record preaching to paint skin like this, but the truth is I haven't found a better recipe yet. This here really suits my needs and also my personal taste. Up until this point I sometimes mix other paints like light flesh into it, but I always come back to these 3 ingredients. So if you know other really good and alive looking flesh tones, please let me know. The eyes got a matching glow effect similar to the dragon. I achieved this with abyssal turquoise, blue-green and white. And with this last step I have to say thanks a lot for watching. Don't forget to leave a like or subscription and we are going to see each other in the next one.